Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a general reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Aquarius, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information about that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Aquarius, we're doing your reading today with the Muse Tarot, and we're going to get an overall energy from the Elemental Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. So, I hope you're doing well, Aquarius. Let's see what we have for you. Angel, spirits, guides, what messages do you have for Aquarius, please? Okay, well, this did come out for somebody. It's number 23. The word is storms, and above it, it says cleansing. 23 reduces to a 5, which is a card of, it's the Hierophant card in the Major Arcana. It's the Pope of the Tarot. So something that's a little bit restrictive, kind of adhering to law and order and standards and doctrine, religious doctrine, spiritual doctrine. Person that is connected spiritually, a leader of some kind, an authority figure of some kind. But it's almost like, I don't see it as all that. I see it as just like, strangely, and this, don't take this to be like a one-to-one, because it's just, I'm just using the word, but it doesn't have to relate to any religion whatsoever. But it's almost like a cleansing, as in like a baptism of sorts, like a rejuvenation of spirit in whatever way that looks for you. You know, it could just be like fasting, or the onset of a new year, or a holiday, or a prayer that, you know, a confession, that kind of thing. Or just a realization of something, and then it washes over you, you know. Kind of reminds me of Tower energy, just because of all that lightning, shock and awe and change and surprise. We shall see. Aquarius, I'm going to pull 4 cards for the base spread, 4 cards of clarifier, and more if I need more. Okay, a whole bunch of cards popped out here. You got 6 cards so far. We're looking for 2 more. Got 3 more. Okay. So we got 1 extra card at the end for the base spread. This is so interesting. You got 2 major arcana to start your reading in describing the past position, your past. You got the Hanged Muse, or the Hanged Man, in reverse. And you got the Devil card in reverse. So Hanged Man, I believe, is Pisces and Virgo, I want to say. Don't quote me on that one. Sometimes I forget. That's definitely Capricorn energy. It's interesting because the Devil card in the reverse has shown up in the past position for more than one sign, of several signs now that I've done. So you might want to watch some of the other readings, especially if they're in your Sun, Moon, or Rising / Ascendant categories, right? We should watch all 3 just to get a clearer picture. Because we're not actually always in our sun sign in terms of our energy. Sometimes we're in our moon, and sometimes we're in our ascendant. But the important thing is that the Devil has been in the past energy. So people kind of overcoming or getting over that feeling of codependency or addiction or negativity, obsession, workaholism, and any of the addictions, alcoholism, gambling, overspending, overeating. Hanged Man in reverse, it's like, you know, letting yourself off the hook is what I just heard, because you see here, there's this like almost hanging by a thread, right? Hanging by a thread. Ugh, I hear that song that I hate in my head, that's hanging on a moment, or hanging by a moment. Ugh, no offense if you like that song, but I'm just gonna say it. That's not a good song. But it might resonate for somebody, because it's like Spirit saying, oh, you don't like that song? You feel so strongly about that song, we're just gonna keep playing it in your head. Hanged Muse is typically talking about somebody who puts themselves up into the tree of knowledge. It's like they extricate themselves from a situation because they're just too darn close to it. They're so up close to something that they can't see the bigger picture. And this is saying that, you know, you've had your moment to assess the situation of your life, of your circumstances, of the things that trapped and bound you in something. And you're stepping out of that now, and you're saying, okay, I see clearly, I'm coming out of this energy to make some different choices, make some moves, change my outlook and my thinking. Wow, 4 cards popped out, and I wasn't going to take them, but they all flipped out, like flipped, you know, right side up, so I have to, like, actually this one did not, but I'm going to take it because I said I would. You got the Sun card here. This is the most beautiful card in the deck. Page of Materials, Page of Pentacles. The Tower in reverse. It's Major Arcana, representing Scorpio and Aries in the reverse. And the 10 of Inspiration, or the 10 of Wands in reverse. So remember, I was talking about the Tower energy, and here it is. Look at it. See these like lightning bolts here? Here we go. I mean, that's just crazy. Isn't that something? I mean, she almost looks like she's going to jump off this hand. She looks like she can jump off at any moment. Metaphorically speaking. The Tower is great surprise, shock, and awe. And it's not always a bad thing. It's not always something that's to our detriment. Right? But I do want to point out that you got the Tower in reverse. So it's almost like you avoided a Tower moment. You avoided a kind of disaster moment. But in so doing, you still kind of are unable to, you know, you might have gotten over this devil energy, but taking a new step forward in a direction, any direction, seems kind of laborious. You're still holding on to some burden. Maybe you feel like, it's your responsibility to hold on to it. I feel like there's some kind of guilt energy, or just this like some guilt energy. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. Like, you see clearly the situation. The sun is great illumination. You see how lucky you are. Okay, I see. Thank you, Spirit. You see how lucky you are. But you're looking at this situation and you're thinking, like, you know, there could be, it's almost like this is a tribe. This is a tribe, and like your tribe is kind of, it's so funny. It's like the end of the day. There must have been some kind of big meeting across the street, but I just see this succession. I literally see this succession of people like walking, I don't know, to dinner or whatever, but they all look like they've got like badges and backpacks, and they look like business people, but they're like in casual attire, so they might have been in 8 hours of meetings and conferences, and now they're like, it's this tribe energy of like Maybe you have a lot of people in your charge. There are a lot of people that are required or have to follow you. And maybe that can feel a little burdensome sometimes, right? And yet you're so thankful because you're like at the leader position, right? You're the one in charge of all that, but it's like you're constantly trying to avert disaster. And in so doing, you may every once in a while slip into this energy, because you know what? The devil energy can also represent perfectionism. Very clear message the Spirit is saying to me right now. And maybe that's why you need this cleansing energy to just like release. It's heavy. In the present energy, 5 of voices, 5 of swords in the reverse. And the moon. You got the sun and the moon. You see the sun and the moon in the same reading. It's very much eclipse energy. And you know, I'm filming this in between 2 eclipses at the end of October. So I don't know when I'm going to be posting this, but it might be in November. So it's just coming off of eclipse energy. But this eclipse energy may be just the thing that catalyzed movement for you. 5 of voices talks about winning at all costs. But you can see here, it's almost like, don't be afraid to be in the mindset to extend an olive branch. Peace. Can we strive for peace? Peace of mind. Peace between brothers and sisters. Peace in our hearts. Namaste, I just heard. I don't say namaste, so that was weird. There's so much to life that is mystery. Moon is all about mystery. Secrets, illusion, and confusion. What are the stories that you're telling? What are the stories that are being told to you? We can only know the world from our perspective, but we can try hard to see the world from another set of eyes, right? And I'll, like, spoiler alert, here's the Justice card, right? You got to be really respectful of the moon energy, because it can paint a really pretty picture. But come daybreak and the whole thing collapses, right? So it's almost like whatever you see and whatever you hear, whatever you're absorbing in the media, social media, from your family, from your friends, from your work situation, like, take it all with a grain of salt. Consult your inner guidance system, your inner knowingness, your clairsentience. We all have it. Your inner compass to make decisions that are in your highest good, but also for the highest good of others, right? That's what this cleansing energy is, you know? It's like a washing away of everything that is tainted that connection that we have with ourselves. You know, that's like all the things that we learned in school, you know, you revisit them. It's funny because it's like when parents they have their children and then they're helping their kids with their homework and they're revisiting some of these subjects, history, math, science. They're revisiting these subjects again. And it's just like, you know, looking at what's being taught and thinking, oh, did we really learn about it this way? You know, Instagram is such a black hole of information, but a lot of times I like to watch old nostalgic things like commercials and game shows and like television shows, old scenes from classic TV. And I recently watched one that was like from the Canadian broadcasting system, and it was like how to make a pizza pie, and they're just calling it a pizza pie. That pizza just didn't always exist in Canada. Pizza was introduced to Canada in like the late 50s, which seems insane to me, but then you're just like, oh, okay. And this whole video, she's like, you just need some dough and a little bit of tomato sauce and some toppings for your pizza pie. And she just kept saying pizza pie, and it was like, I don't know. I became transfixed, as you can tell. But can you imagine? Like, it's literally looking through a time capsule. Sometimes when we're on social media like this and we watch these old tutorials, you know, making a pizza these days seems just so commonplace. Everybody knows what goes in, you know, maybe not everybody if you don't cook, but you know what the constituent elements of a pizza are. And just to be the one to have introduced it to an entire nation, that's just like, it's so bizarre to me, right? But it's information that has to be disseminated in some way, and Spirit is really talking about that right now. Like, really look at what you're being told about yourself and the world, and be thoughtful and mindful about what it is that you believe, and if you believe it so blanketly, or if you can educate yourself and say, okay, what's the real issue here, you know? But I feel like it's the burden of that is weighing on you. It's like maybe you have all these people that are in your charge, and you don't know what to tell them. You don't know what to say. You know, Aquarians are notorious for being the leaders, along with Aries. They're whoa, it's too many, Spirit, too many. They're known for being the leaders of the zodiac, the entrepreneurs. The thing about Aquarius, though, is that they march to the beat of their own drum. They're mavericks. You got the World card, Major Arcana, number 21. World card talks about ending a chapter, ending a cycle, beginning a new one. So there's something that's closing out here. I think there's a revelation that you're going to have very, very soon, if you haven't had it already, about the world. I'm feeling like geopolitics. Take it as it resonates. In your future energy, I see it coming back to the self, coming back to the higher self. Two of emotions, Two of Cups, can talk about a divine union, a divine partnership. So this could be you and your spouse, your partner, a best friend, a parent, somebody who is a companion to you, a partner to you. Or it could talk about you and your soul, you and your higher self, you here and you in the 5D. Coming into alignment, coming into understanding, right? Following, finally, in the future energy, following that intuition, not being confused about it. Two of Voices, Two of Swords. Double two. Take that as a synchronicity. Two of Voices can talk about confusion, being of two minds, really being trapped in your own thoughts, and it's in the reverse. So it's talking to me about very clear-headedness, right? It's like this, there's a philosopher that I used to study when I was in grad school, and his name was Derrida. He's French Algerian, and then sometimes Algerian, and then back to French, depending on the geopolitical state of his country, right? So that's interesting. It's interesting how the borders of countries are arbitrary. It's just who has money, who has power. They don't actually exist, these borders. You see the world from outer space, and there's no borders. The only border is the water, land formations, mountains and valleys and peaks and crevices. There are no actual borders. We create them. We create boundaries between ourselves, between each other. Anyway, Derrida lived in Algeria. He was born there, and the whole premise of the whole basis actually of his philosophy, which was called deconstruction, something that I loved when I was in grad school, back in my days when I thought I was going to become a college professor. It's just like I just lived and breathed this deconstruction, because he basically grew up in a country whose status changed, basically ownership changed, colonization changed over time. So one day he would be an Algerian citizen, and the next day he would be French. And the day after that, he had no citizenship. He had no rights. He had no status, except his 2 legs, his 2 arms, and his head, you know? It's just... And deconstruction was born off of the idea that we can look at something and dissect it until we can't dissect it anymore. It's just like asking why 10 times. Why? And if at the end of all of that contemplation, you come to the realization that you still believe what you believed in the very beginning, after doing the research, asking the hard questions, asking yourself the hard questions, and at the end of the day, you still believe what you believe, then you believe it even more strongly than you did when you started the journey. That's deconstruction in a very reductive nutshell. But this is what I see for you right now. It's this in the future energy coming into alignment with yourself after having debated it constantly. And you're saying, nope, I've come to a reckoning. I've come to a resolution. I want a clarifier on that one. Ten of Pentacles, 10 of Materials. See, when you come to that, when you really challenge yourself, this is challenging, right? This isn't like happy-go-lucky energy. This cleansing happens after a true reckoning with spirit, with our spirit. And then this happens. Growth, expansion, jubilation, community. See this? A joining together of hands to build something beautiful. Truly, it's beautiful because it shows me what you believe in at the end of the day. That's beautiful. What's advice from Spirit? Muse of inspiration. Now go forth. And I was not going to say conquer, but it just popped into my mind. But not conquer in the colonization kind of way. Not conquer in the conquering over others. It's kind of conquering the inner landscape. Conquering of the ego. It's like these are your spirit guides ushering in this like new version of you, right? Because here's the Justice card, Libra energy, fellow air sign. Things coming into karmic balance because they have to, right? The universe seems like there's an infinite vacuum out there, but there's something always to fill it. Even if it's dark matter, even if it's things that Seven of Inspiration in reverse that we cannot see in the periphery, right? Isn't this amazing here? See this energy? Seven of Inspiration, Seven of Wands is like a blocking energy, and I see this character trying to hold things at bay so that letting the light in, right? But you got this card in the reverse, right? And see how it just so beautifully fits that shape, fits right into here. It's almost like You are protecting something. You're protecting the balance. Interesting. I think you're going to come to like some massive epiphanies about something. And maybe it's going to make you question something that you believed in for a long time. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to say, you know what? I did used to think this way, but I have a right to change my mind. Because my love, my experience, my time on earth has taught me many things, that we can look back to those children's textbooks and see, okay, we were taught in a certain way at a certain time with the brain capacity that we had at that time, but we're all adults now. And we can look at things with a more discerning eye, a more educated space, a more compassionate space. I see a lot of compassion here. And using that as our fuel, lead others into something really abundant. That's your reading, Aquarius. That's kind of heavy. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. It really, really helps my channel when you comment and you like and you subscribe. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Aquarius.